Hello and welcome to Dialogue. Rescue teams are frantically searching for survivors from the powerful 7.9 magnitude earthquake which struck Myanmar Friday, the most powerful quake to hit the country in the past century. International teams and aid have been pouring into Myanmar as the death toll continues to rise and fears are growing over the low shortages of food, water and medical supplies. So what is the latest situation on the ground and what are the major challenges for rescue operation? Join us for discussion today, live from Beijing. I'm Xu Qinduo. Joining me today are Zhou Jiaxin, so we will try to reach Zhou Jiaxin later. But anyway, we have our guests here, experts from different fields. Shiling from International Academy of the Red Cross in Soochow University, Robert J. Geller, seismologist and Professor Emeritus of the University of Tokyo, and Dr. Thurein Hlaing Win, Country Manager of Hello Sayarwon, a leading healthcare platform in Myanmar, and he's also a healthcare social influencer and a former clinician. Welcome to the show. Well, Dr. Win, I will start with you. So as we said, this is a very powerful earthquake. Some people are talking about the level of devastation. They say, that is something unseen probably in over a century in Asia. Tell us, how devastating is it?
Well, when the earthquake first hit, I was not in Myanmar, I was in the northern part of Thailand. And I never thought, I thought it is the earthquake center in Thailand at that time. I never thought in my life, or even my parents, they never thought in their life that this kind of earthquake actually hit Myanmar. So that's the kind of amount of magnitude that we never even imagined before. Mm-hmm. So this is a devastated earthquake, which affects not only the earthquake epicenter is the central region of Myanmar, but the earthquake itself impacts in different locations, regardless of where you are at the time being. For instance, the earthquake impacts every Burmese citizen, the entire country, either if they are hit by earthquake directly or by indirectly. Even in Thailand, there are a lot of Burmese workers working in Thailand. Because of the earthquakes, the Thailand got some traumas, and then most of the people, a lot of people, Burmese citizens and Myanmar citizens have been also died in Thailand as well. So as you can see, the earthquake is so big, so huge that I couldn't even apprehend the full scale of its impact. It not only affects the central region, but it also affects the other parts of the country, not even limited to the country boundary. It even reaches beyond the country boundary. Everyone, if he's a Burmese citizen, Myanmar citizen, he or she will suffer from this earthquake. So that's that kind of huge level.
Mm-hmm. So Dr. Win, what about the casualties and rescue operations right now? How much do we know?
Well, I got the information that that toll is rising. It's nearly up to 2,000 confirmed deaths. I want you to imagine that it is just only the confirmed death. And from the video footages that we've seen, not only because we only got the video footages from the places which still have the internet connection. It means that there are other areas in the central region, not only Mandalay, not only Zagain, but in other townships area, Mandalay region, they also suffered massively from this huge earthquake. So we cannot see their images, we cannot see the footages, not because they are not suffering, just because there are a lot of internet disconnections in those areas. That's why. So I can see that what I heard from my friends and the relatives in this area is more than 80% of the buildings, if it is 2-story heights, got collapsed. So there are a lot of people still underneath of these rebels. So but we already passed the golden hours, 72 hours. But so the hope for survival of these trapped people is getting dimmer and dimmer. So we're afraid that we suspected that too, that in the future days there will be a rising of death tolls.
Shiling, of course, very close to the epicenter is the second largest city, Mandalay, of the country. We are talking about, more than 1 million, around 2 million people in the city. So with the building collapses, very unstable. Of course, rescue teams from at least 7 countries, China, Russia, India, and ASEAN countries like Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, they are operating there. What are the challenges for the rescue efforts?
In terms of some general, if we are speaking in general terms, the aftershocks always prove to be a threat to rescue efforts on the ground. Just today, we have received a video from Chinese reporters on the ground, recording a scenery that several rescuers jumped out of the collapsed building or out of the work site that they were working in, and to avoid a certain loud sound, not clear that whether it is a impact of aftershock or a slow collapse of the building. And so, yes, the rescuers usually, by routine, they will set a security observer on the site. So they have some mechanism to cope with it. But still, we would say we have so few rescue teams, professional rescue teams with heavy machines and professional skills on site to deal with the people buried several layers below the surface. So I fully echoed with what Dr. Thurein was narrating, and we fear that the death toll could rise in the coming days.
Right now, we have the latest number is more than 2,000. Actually, it's 2,056 at least. Were killed in this area. So Shiling, you talked about there are so few rescue teams. You mean there's still a need of probably a much larger number of disaster relief and rescue teams from other countries to help?
We keep watching on the UN-led INSARAG platform, online platform, which was used to coordinate all the international rescue teams. And we see several dozens international teams monitoring, and several dozens of them perhaps mobilizing and already deployed. And only from China, we can say we have seen 2 national rescue teams and, let me see, perhaps 15 to 18 civil rescue teams coming from China already arriving in Myanmar, most of them in Mandalay, devoting to work. But also we are seeing that the 72-hour window is closing, and with the heat there, which leaves us a relatively shorter survival window for the people under the rubbles, and a very critical condition for the working rescuers, to leaving them with a very short working hour window during the day. So we would say perhaps the more crucial mission for the rescue team afterwards would be to develop a full view of what situation is like on the ground, to do better informed decision, and to prioritize their work site selection.
Well, of course, for information for those who are not familiar with the region, we just checked the weather. For example, in Mandalay, there is it's about the high of the day is about like a 40 or more than 40 Celsius degree. A blistering heat, I would say, for the rescue workers to work in. And Professor Robert Geller, We also talked about aftershocks. Already 3 days after the earthquake, are we still feeling short, let's say, aftershocks?
Well, the aftershocks will continue for several months, although they will gradually diminish in frequency and magnitude. But in some cases, the largest aftershock can happen 1 or 2 months after the main shock. So we can't say anything for sure. But what we can say is that, as your guests have already described, many of the buildings have been seriously damaged by the main shock. So they're much weaker now than before the earthquake. So even a relatively small aftershock can destroy buildings that are damaged but not yet collapsed. So it's very important for people not to go into those damaged buildings.
Okay, so there are hidden dangers, obviously, and also, Professor, for those rescuers, and I'm imagining, of course, with aftershocks, we are thinking about the landslides, we're thinking about the damages to road. Obviously, there's a key bridge breaking near Mandalay, so all these constitute severe challenges for the rescuing team. Is that the case?
That's entirely correct. And also, as your guests explained, there's a shortage of appropriate heavy machinery for dealing efficiently with the rubble. So it's a really, really big problem. And I'm happy that teams from so many countries are helping in the rescue efforts. But as you said, it's a race against time.
It's racing against the time. And Shiling, you mentioned about the equipment. I'm thinking, of course, we have seen from the pictures or reports, reading reports that, for example, the Chinese teams, they have already deployed drones and satellite tech to help with the rescue operation. How helpful or how necessary are those equipments?
Well, the fundamental question in rescue is consistent. Let me draw back the question a little bit. So as a rescuer, you are entering a certain mist created by the mega disaster, and you can only see 2 steps afar. And how would you know, for example, the people crying to you is the most need, and would you miss more lives if you stop to address this one? Then as a team, or as if you have several teams at hand, how should we distribute these valuable capacities to save as many as possible? So this is the crucial fundamental question. And now this might be a management myth, but this is a reappearing question of, we would say, strategic decision making on the ground. So the tech you mentioned, drones and satellites, help on that. And drones help to, say, observe a certain area to get an interview at quick pace. And satellites, which we love, its role is similar, but on a different scale. And satellite image, for example, informs situation across cities and provinces. For example, this time for Myanmar, we have SDG satellites and scientists behind it estimating the impacted population in different provinces. And we have the Shiling the third satellite recognizes all the collapsed buildings in Mandalay. And these all help create a full view to design action and prioritization, especially when we lack consolidated information from the field.
Yes, that's right. Coordination is necessary. Dr. Win, of course, the Myanmar government has issued unprecedented appeal for international aid after the earthquake. But before that, introduce to us, how much do we know about the resistance in terms of the building, for example, building code, or how prepared are people, residents in this region, in terms of how to respond during a situation of urgency?
Well, to be honest, no one even knows, like, as I mentioned it to you before, I couldn't even believe that it hit the central region, right? So I have no prior knowledge about it. And it goes the same for the residents in Mandalay and the central region as well. People have no idea of it, like no idea of like how to respond, how to kind of like rescues, and the massive help as we are getting right now is like from each other. Like people are helping each other. So I would like to talk about the rescues acts that we talk about. So yeah, I heard about like there are a lot of like rescue teams pouring in the country, and then like they are doing a great job. That's quite hard, including the K9 units as well. I'm so grateful for these people like to actually came and help in this situation. But I would like to point out that the earthquake hits not only just one building, like not a huge building, right? It hits the central region, the whole central region. So it's literally there's nothing left in this area, like even only some rubbles there and now, right? So we still need a lot of like help. We still need a lot of support because like in these years, like we've endured a lot. Like there are a lot of like COVID waves, and then like in there are a lot of floods, which is like in Thailand and Myanmar as well. And this huge earthquake, which we have never endured before. So honestly speaking, we are not prepared at all, like to endure this kind of like such large scale disaster. We have never prepared for something like that. So that's why we keep appealing the international community to help us. But we already passed the golden hour. But I still hope, because like we endured a lot, and I believe that we will endure more like from this crisis as well. So I believe like golden hour is past. I acknowledge that, but I believe these people and the need of these buildings will still be fighting for their life to survive. We just need to give them a chance to survive. So we just can't give it because like it's way past of like golden hours or something like that. So I appeal for the international community to support us, like more rescue teams, more heavy missionaries. I want you to imagine that these people are helping each other with their bare hands. We don't even have like single equipment. These people are like trying to remove big blocks of building by themselves. Like a lot of people involved. Even like people are helping each other. Even they are the ones who have been suffer from this crisis as well. So this is the kind of like movement people have been trying to do. So we need more support. That's the message I really want to appeal to the international community.
I want to have this question for Robert. Professor, you are familiar with, obviously, I mean, the tremors there. In a situation like in Myanmar, today's Myanmar, we mentioned about the fear of the shortage of food, water, and medical supplies. And of course, like also hospitals are overwhelmed with the injured. So what kind of, say, material, what kind of equipment, what kind of aid and assistance the country desperately needs probably from the international community right now?
Well, first, on the local scene, in the case of an earthquake, people can live without food for 1 week. But if they don't have water, they'll die in 3 days. So I think the local authorities have to be able to provide water to all of the survivors. Then, of course, obviously food and medical care, but also people have to live. So it's a very great psychological stress. People need to have some kind of emergency shelter. And For example, especially in the case of women, they need to have some privacy. For example, to go to the toilet or to feed their children, to breastfeed them. So, and then obviously it's very hot and humid. So if there can be air conditioning or even fans to provide some cooling, that's important. So the international community can contribute to that, but it first of all requires the resources on the ground, right in each location.
Yeah, on the ground in these locations. Dr. Win, I mean, you received always the messages, basically people sharing stories with you. What's the public response? You know, like what kind of stories you are receiving in terms of probably of their lost ones or their missing ones, or you know how they made it, you know how they felt during the quake. Tell us, share some of them with us.
So, in like. I don't even know like how to describe it, because like I've read and seen a lot of posts, not only from my friends but from other people as well. People losing their whole family, even like not a single one left from the whole family. Like people, they lose their whole family, and then like there are some people like which only like family out of like 18, only one survived. And those kind of stories. And then like we heard about the stories about people still asking for help even in the dark times, like dark times. I mean, very, very dark times. People, I mean, still surviving, trying to survive. I just saw a footage of like 4 family members who have been surviving and then rescued. The good news is they are rescued. And then they share the location, they share that place with 2 bodies of their loved ones. So they have been surviving that. So there are a lot of like heartbreaking stories. I couldn't even apprehend. I couldn't even read them kind of like fully, completely, because like we can see their sufferings in there. We can like there are a lot of conditions happening, and then like a lot of like heartbreaking stories we heard about it. And the most horrible things it could be is like you lost someone and then you couldn't do anything about it. You can hear the voice. You can hear the voice asking for help. It could be your daughter, could be your son, could be your loved one, like wife or husband, father or mother, and you're completely helpless. You couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You have no one to help you. All around, like people all around you is suffering the most. They are suffering. Everyone is suffering. And you hear the voice. You cannot do anything about it. And I want you to imagine in that situation, like how heartbreaking that would be to hear your loved one slowly dying and you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, the state of
this is not a story of one person. This is a story of thousands of people. And if we don't act quickly, and if we're not getting enough resources to manage that, we will be hearing another tens of thousands of stories like that. So that's what's going on in those places.
State of being helpless and a situation for emergency, absolutely. Robert, you know, we have this earthquake, of course, a rather recent one, hit Tonga Islands. And then we had another earlier one in January, you know, powerful earthquake hit Dingri County of China's Xizang Autonomous Region. So any possible links among these earthquakes?
Well, that's a good question. And the answer is not so simple. That the occurrence of large earthquakes is a kind of matter of probability rather than definite connections. So just like you have aftershocks right near the epicenter, you also have earthquakes that can be triggered at a long distance. So there is some connection between all of the earthquakes in the Earth's crust. But it's not so simple as to say earthquake A triggered earthquake B, which triggered earthquake C. Any large earthquakes makes some instability in the crust on a global scale, and it makes slightly more probability than normal for other large earthquakes. So these are all interconnected, but not in such a simple way.
Not in such a simple way. Professor, what's is there any? Are we able to make any prediction about anything we need to be aware of or to be vigilant about in terms of the tremors, in this region or surrounding area?
Well, unfortunately, the science of seismology is not able to make reliable and accurate predictions on a time and space scale to be useful to human beings. That maybe in 100 years that will change. Although efforts to predict earthquakes reliably and accurately have been going on for more than 100 years, with not only no progress, but the more people try, the more we realize how difficult it is. So the most important thing is to have safe buildings that will withstand shaking. And that's easy to say, but in a relatively poor economic country like Myanmar, maybe the country does not have the resources to make all of the buildings safe, unfortunately. So perhaps they could do more. So I always tell people in Japan, but this also applies anywhere in the world, that a large earthquake can happen at any time, anywhere, and without any advance warning. So we have to do the best we can to prepare for earthquake resistance and earthquake resilience in advance.
Yeah, get better prepared. Shiling, long term, how do you look at the effects of the earthquake and also in terms of reconstruction of the country?
Well, the reconstruction okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Shiling, please.
No, actually, I would also like to hear from the professor, but for me, from my point of view, we understand that Myanmar has sustained a humanitarian crisis, a protected humanitarian situation even before the earthquake, and it's quite a complex one. The complex political and social dynamics here also to a certain degree hinders the relief action from the international community, but also they are compounding by the effect of, say, the international aid funding freeze from the beginning of the year. So we would see that we always say crisis can be also an opportunity. So we indeed really hope the international community by this time can rethink how international aid, especially humanitarian aid, means. What does it mean for a society, for a country in the longer term? What does it mean to development, not only on a country sense, but also how they contribute to regional and perhaps global security and prosperity? This could be an opportunity. We really hope so.
Yeah, solidarity, on the international level. With that, we come to the end of today's show. Many thanks to our guests. You can also watch us on the CGTN app on YouTube. Thank you for being with us. I'm Xu Qinduo. See you next time.